that's all coming up today. All here. And the free video streams are at Infowars.com. Get them. Get that out to everybody. That's how you can donate right there. It's just spreading the word. And I see the donations are pouring in. Let me give you the number, then we're going to Joel. 888-253-3139. If you want to call in and donate, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. We got 8 people back there to take your calls. They're going to be there throughout the night, and I'm going to be up. I'm going to go to sleep at 2 till about 5. I'm going to get up, read more of the news at 5, take a shower and stuff, and then I'll be back, on the air, of course, until the show ends tomorrow at 2 o'clock. That's 27 hours. But live overnight for those 4 or 5 hours, we're going to have Watson and Aaron Dykes with some guests. You don't want to miss that. So, again, 888-253-3139. It's the 4th annual InfoWars Money Bomb. The idea of the restorationists using the free market and your free will donating to build this. We're not like the government that takes your money and then bailout money and then gives it to MSNBC secretly that's now come out. We don't do that. We're saying, if you believe in this, donate to us. Now, going to the balance of the hour and a little bit into the next, if we can do it, because TARP is coming up at 8 after. We're joined by Joel Skousen, a political scientist by training. He, of course, was also a fighter pilot. We've gone over his bio many, many times here on air. And he is a world-renowned expert on strategic relocation, I guess bunker housing type systems. He publishes the World Affairs Brief. We also sell his book. It's one of our best sellers, Strategic Relocation, the latest edition with all color photos about safest areas in the country. And I've done my own research. I agree with his analysis. So joelskousen.com. And, of course, you can get that all at Infowars.com. We're going to go to break here in about 3 minutes, Joel. Thank you for joining us during the Money Bomb. But out of all the things that are happening right now, just give us a brief summary overall of your take on what's happening. Then we'll come back, get into Iran, the economy, and more.
Well, thank you, Alex. It's really a privilege to be on this very worthy cause, and thanks for the call. Things are really starting to move rapidly. One of the key elements that I saw was this decision to pull out of Iraq when they had no intention of pulling out. They were really stymied by the Iraqi opposition, but I think this Iran war is going to be there, and it's the only reason I could see why they're pushing up all of this propaganda, which lets the Iranians know this is coming very, very soon, and sacrificing military secrecy, which normally accompanies a preemptive strike, so that it's a surprise. We'll talk a little bit more about the background I have on what I think the various parties are up to on this, but we are facing a major crisis right now in the economy because of the European debt situation. Greece has thrown a monkey wrench into the European debt resolution and bailout. The markets are responding extremely negative. And I think what's coming up that we really need to look at and talk about is what's coming up in November when the Super Committee brings out its report relative to the cuts that they're going to propose. I don't think Congress is going to be able to vote for those cuts. The automatic cuts will then trigger in. And I think this Occupy Wall Street movement, even though it's beneficial to our movement in the sense that it's attacking Wall Street, it is a leftist-based organization. And I think that they're going to trigger a great deal of extreme violence and other further unrest when these automatic trigger cuts come in. So far, they really haven't got the wherewithal to do a major escalation of these demonstrations until that November report comes out. So that's coming up this month.
Well, Joel, that's extremely interesting, and I concur with your breakdown. Let's go through all of this on the other side. We've got Joel joining us via Skype from his home. We may go to telephone here in a moment, though, because his audio is really, really low for radio listeners out there. But this is be important information, obviously, straight ahead. My sources are Israel is planning to attack Iran. And I said that 2.5 weeks ago. Now you see them openly saying they want to. So we're proven right again. And we'll get Joel's take on all of this on the other side. We could still stop it, though. Or we'll get Joel's take on it if he thinks we can still stop it.
Hey, guys, are weaker testosterone levels taking you out of the game? Are you gaining fat, feeling tired, losing desire in the bedroom? Get back in the game. Call now for a risk-free trial of Ageless Male, a natural supplement shown to raise testosterone by 61%. and maintain healthy, normal levels. No injections, no appointments. Just take Ageless Male every day and boost your testosterone by 61%. When your levels are healthy, you can feel energy again, a great outlook again, and yes, a healthy sex drive. The results are life-changing. Beware of cheap knockoffs. Ageless Male is an exclusive formula and the only one proven in research to boost testosterone 61%. Try Ageless Male, risk-free. Just call 1-800-497-8345. 1-800-497-8345. 1-800-497-8345.
Hey everybody, Jason Lewis here once again. These are hard times for investors. If you're like me, you just don't know where to put your money because there's a downside to every possible scenario. Now look, every portfolio needs a hedge for inflation. Gold has been the classic. I want to be honest with you, commodities fluctuate. So you could lose money. Gold goes up and down. But every stable portfolio usually has an inflation hedge, and gold is, well, the gold standard. Washington is not going to get us out of this recovery, so you've got to protect yourself. Give it some thought, and if you're interested in converting your IRA to gold or would like to actually have it in your possession, call Midas Resources today at 1-800-686-2237. The U.S. dollar was once backed by gold, but it's lost a lot of its value since then. Call Midas Resources today, 1-800-686-2237 for gold. That's 1-800-686-2237, and tell them Jason Lewis sent you.
Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my family, the Infowars.com team want to relay to you and your families that we are intensifying our efforts against the globalist on every front. Infowars.com is leading the fight against the technocrats. But we can't do that without your help. By getting the films, bumper stickers, and T-shirts at Infowars.com, you will wake up people in your area and support our operation as we move to the next level. We need your help to spread the word like never before. They wish to hide themselves during this tectonic battle between the forces of freedom and darkness. You are the response to the globalist technocrats and their program of global eugenics, dehumanization, and ultimate extermination. The war is here. It's an info war. The spirit of 1776 versus the mindset of 1984.
What nutrition are you missing that's leading to the 4 major diseases? Cancer, arthritis, heart disease, and Parkinson's. There are at least 80,000 medical studies that show a lack of the protein glutathione to be linked to cancer, heart disease, Parkinson's, macular degeneration, lung disease, digestive diseases, diabetes, Alzheimer's, ALS, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus. In all, at least 68 diseases. What is the number one food by which your body is most empowered to increase its glutathione production? It is undamaged whey protein from grass-fed cows. One World Whey is truly the first undamaged whey protein. All other whey protein powders are damaged by heat, chemicals, and filtration. One World Whey is the most life-giving whey protein powder ever produced. Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
Joel Skousen is our guest for 5 minutes into the next hour. Then Webster Tarpley joins us to give us his geopolitical perspective. Joel, so, wow, this is really news I don't like to hear because I respect your geopolitical analysis and view. Just to get it straight, you're concurring that they pretty much have green-lighted an attack on Iran. How long ago, were you aware of this? And then you were getting into what this means militarily to be announcing it. And what the whole point of that is. So please continue.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story, and it's going to be the lead story on the World Affairs Brief coming out this Friday about this really difficult military decision. Now, this story has been green-lighted, or at least the attack on Iran has been green-lighted clear back to 2004. We know that because there was a major break in security in an insider meeting in the city of London that I reported on in the World Affairs Brief, whereby one of the persons who wasn't supposed to be there at the meeting was inadvertently invited. And they talked openly about the fact of how displeased the globalists were that Israel had not gone forward in their strike on Iran, and that was clear back in 2004. So this isn't something new. But what's interesting, in 2007, the establishment had to reverse its attack on Iran. They had 3 carrier task force off of Iran ready to do it in the fall of 2007. You were covering that, I was covering that, and all of a sudden they came out with a National Intelligence Estimate, the NIE, which said suddenly that Iran had dropped their nuclear program, they were no longer a threat, and people said, what's going on here? And of course this was because, I believe, and that was my analysis, that Ron Paul, who was the only Republican running in 2008 on a very strong anti-war platform and was gaining popularity fast, the United States knew that they couldn't do a preemptive strike on Iran without engendering a great deal of anti-war feeling in the United States that would accrue to the political benefit of Ron Paul. So suddenly, as soon as Ron Paul was defeated in the nomination process and really manipulated out of the show, suddenly the NIE reversed itself. So go figure. Obviously, they were back on track that Iran is now a threat, and they've been pounding that drum ever since. But we've never seen a crescendo of propaganda and war beating of the drums as we've seen in the last 2 weeks. Every mainstream newspaper is touting all of the Israeli stories about the things that you mentioned going on in the cabinet. This really isn't a matter of strain and negotiation with the cabinet. All of them are on board. And what's interesting, though, is that there's a bunch of propaganda coming out of the U.S. press about the trip of Leon Panetta to Israel, saying that he was going there to stop Iran from this. And that was
You're saying that's a show of deliberation, to act like they thought things through.
Absolutely true, and it's absolutely false, and so was the propaganda that Leon Panetta tried to stop this. He was going there to coordinate U.S. strategy. You go first, we'll come in and finish things up in a big way so that we can take the heat off of Israel.
But they'll need to stage something after. Well, I know I've had family sent to Kuwait. I've talked to others. They're being told Israel will strike, and I don't want to give up too many sources, but they're at least telling mid-level military people that it's on, and before the winter gets too deep. So that's why I said 2.5 weeks ago, I said within 2 weeks, then that's the danger zone. And now, of course, it's all over the news that they're going ahead with this attack. Joel, is there any way from your view to stop it?
No, I really don't believe so. The only thing that has stopped it up at this point is the failure to get to induce Iran to do or to succumb to a Gulf of Tonkin episode. They tried to do it a couple of years ago when the U.S. Navy went into the Gulf of Hormuz, and they had the Iranian speedboats harassing them, and they came on U.S. black operations on the radio on their frequency, speaking, with Iranian people speaking as if the speedboats were going to attack the U.S. Task force, and the U.S. commander didn't take the bait. He refused to attack the speedboats, and that's what saved us from a Gulf of Tonkin thing at that point. What I think they're heading for now is coming up this next week is a new UN report. I think it's going to be very negative against Iran. It's going to build up the fact that their nuclear program is going forward. The U.S. will beat the drums for UN increased sanctions. They may try to get the cutoff of gasoline, which ends up being a similar act of war to what produced the Pearl Harbor attack on Japan when Britain cut off their sources of fuel and gasoline to Japan. It's a very similar stress.
Joel, stay there. Long segment coming up. I concur with your analysis, unfortunately. I wish this wasn't what we're moving into. And so I want to look at, if the strike comes, which is probably 95% chance now, barring a miracle. We saw that when Fox Fallon refused as well, as you said in 2007, 2008. Barring a miracle, then what's going to happen? What do you think the aftermath will be of that? How does China tie in? How does Russia tie in? Stay with us.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.